Hi, I'm Dave Littell from the American College, and I'm here with Joe Labella from Voya Investment Management, and we're going to talk about Voya's consistency lens approach to selecting actively managed mutual funds. Welcome, Joe.
Thanks, Dave.
So, Joe, specifically, what is the consistency lens, and what is its value?
Sure. Well, the lens is designed from our research, over 40 years of reliable research, to help advisors differentiate active managers against the benchmark, to be able to find those managers that can distribute or contribute excess return with limited downside volatility. And there's really three parts to the consistency lens. The first part is really the data, how we look at the data. Now, traditionally, we look at trailing returns, 1, 3, 5, and 10, and that's fine to start with. But the problem with that is you're only dealing with a limited amount of data points, and it's really hard to discern whether a manager has skill or luck. The other thing, too, with trailing returns is that the recent returns kind of overwhelm the long-term history. So the 1 year unduly influences the 3 year, the 3-year, 5-year, etc. So what we did is we looked at rolling returns, and there you get a much more robust data set. So for example, if you look at 5 years of return history with rolling returns, you get 25 data points. With 10 years worth of return history, you get 85 data points. 85 data points is better than 4 data points. So again, you get a better picture, a more robust picture, a consistent view of the manager's skill over time, over different market environments. The other thing too we looked at is factors, right? Return-based factors. We wanted to find which factors, when put together in the aggregate, can highlight active managers that exhibit excess return over market cycles and also are cognizant of downside risk. So we came up with these 6 factors, and 3 factors deal with skill, a manager's skill, and 3 factors deals with the manager's priorities. So for example, information ratio, Sortino ratio, and overall ratio, or manager's skill. You can discern that the manager has skill over time. Equally important, if you think about it, is how the manager prioritizes his or her strategy. So R squared, downside capture, and upside capture are important too, because one of the problems with using historical returns is, the future may not live up to the past. However, the philosophy of a manager should be consistent over time, assuming that manager stays with that fund, and that's why the other 3 factors are really important. And then finally, if I may add, the last part is we optimize these factors, and we align those factors with the appropriate stage of a life cycle of retirement. So for example, if someone's looking to accumulate wealth, what does consistency mean to that individual? It means an aggressive strategy. Someone who's maybe 10 or 15 years from retirement, what does consistency mean to that person? Well, it means balanced, don't rock the boat. And finally, if someone's in retirement, consistency takes a whole new meaning, right? It's stability, don't blow me up. Right. So because of that, what we did is we optimized the factors and picked certain factors to be aligned with the certain life stages of retirement or a client risk profile.
Okay, so I guess some of the downside, measures would be more important to a retirement investor,
right,
for example.
It's pretty intuitive. So
Yeah.
if someone has got a 20 or 30-year time horizon, then they're going to lean towards more aggressive strategies, and maybe information ratio or upside capture is weighed much more than, say, a retiree, where we downshift, and we look at Sortino ratio and downside capture as having more of a weight.
Joe, over time, how has the consistency lens evolved?
Well, we haven't changed our core methodology. What we have done is we moved from our original white paper, which consisted of using 10 Morningstar categories or asset classes, 7 equity and 3 fixed income. And currently today we have over 24 Morningstar categories that we cover, and which comes to about 7,700 active fund managers. And we also cover about 95% of all fund families with 10 billion or more in assets.
Joe, when an advisor uses the consistency lens approach, what do they get?
Well, David, they'll get a diagnostic report, and it's a very simple 7-page report that shows the funds that they've selected through 2 different time periods. Midterm, which is from 0 to 5 years, and then long term from 5 to 10 years. They'll also get an analysis of the 6 factors we've talked about and how the fund ranks and scores, as well as where the fund ranks and scores when it comes to profile or the retirement life stages, accumulator, pre-retiree, and retiree. And we break things down into quartiles. So bright green is great, light green is okay, yellow is caution, and of course red is bad.
So can you give me an example of how an advisor might use this?
Sure. So if you have an advisor that's got many different clients, and obviously they're in all different stages of retirement, so you could have a fund that you really like, say a large cap growth fund, and you could run it through the consistency lens, and you will get a diagnostic report. And it could score really well for an aggressive profile. However, that same fund may not score as well in the retirement profile. So here you can see an advisor has an opportunity now to almost bifurcate their book of business. They can align the fund that best suits that client and what's having a profound impact on their business. And if you think about it, in the DC space, defined contribution space, you can have designed a fund menu for a sponsor, and then furthermore go into it and look at each participant, and then now align their risk profiles with the appropriate fund.
Interesting. So finally, how does an advisor access this information?
Great task. Well, we've got a full staff that helps at Voya Investment Management, as far as representatives that travel this country, myself, of course, and we also have a website, retirementu.voya.com, which is really the touchstone to find all the information you need to know about both the investing side of Retirement U and also the engagement side. You can request the diagnostic report to use the consistency lens through that website.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thanks, David.
This video was made possible by the New York Life Center for Retirement Income.